Okay, so we're into case 4. The Abbey Grange affair.
The game is afoot, not a word. Into your clothes and come.
Yo, son. You're so early. It's like I've been streaming for 1 minute and you're here.
From Inspector Lestrade. A letter from the suburbs.
He
is in need of my
I suppose
presence.
you are calling with your girlfriend?
Whenever he has asked for my assistance, it has always turned out to be entirely justified. I fancy that every one of his cases has found its way into your collection.
Yes,
okay, fair
all
enough.
seem worthy of...
However, I regret your fatal habit of looking at everything from the point of view of a story instead of a scientific exercise.
Oh, Holmes, you...
I beg your pardon, I digress. It would be much better to examine this letter than to try to convince you.
Yeah, expected. Not surprised. (21) 22 1B Baker Street, London, Sherlock Holmes.
A wax seal with the monogram E.B. I can tell from Lestrade's handwriting that he was in a hurry when he wrote this letter.
Oh, how can you tell?
The Brackenstall family coat of arms.
Let's open it up. My dear Mr. Holmes, is by Abbey Grange, Marsham, Kent, 3:30 a.m. 3:30 a.m. and you're still not sleeping. I should be very glad of your immediate assistance in what promised to be a most remarkable case. This is something quite in your line. Except for releasing the lady, I'll see that everything is kept exactly as I have found it, but I beg you not to lose an instant, as it is difficult to leave Sir Eustace there. Eustace? Sir Eustace? Eustace. Let's presume it's Eustace. You don't want me to time you out, son.
So, what is it, Holmes?
Promising, as always. It appears to be a case of murder.
So you believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I'm having a hard time. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that
Lestrade
word.
wouldn't have sent for me for less. His writing shows considerable agitation, and he is not an emotional man. These people belong to high society. The quality of the writing paper, the EB monogram, their coat of arms. The crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can you possibly tell?
The letter.
Well, it is all thanks to Lestrade. He wrote
3:30 in the morning.
3:30 in the morning. Imagine the chain of events before that. The local police had to be called in. Scotland Yard was notified. Lestrade himself had to make haste there, and finally compose the letter he sent to me. All of that makes for a fair night's work.
It makes sense. Lestrade also speaks of the woman he released.
That seems to indicate that she had been held somewhere during the crime. Much time has been wasted. Let us find a cab and go to Abbey Grange immediately. I live in hope of an interesting morning.
Nope. Let's search for something else.
My arc.
See, we have a new letter. A colossal scandal in high society. The well-known and remarkable archaeologist, the pride of our nation, Sir Rodney Bancliffe, has been found murdered. The crime took place at the Roman Baths in Strand Lane, the location of the archaeologist's most recent research. But what is most truly shocking is that the murder of Sir Rodney was at the hand of his former friend and partner, Percival Blencorn. The death sentence is the only possible punishment for this breed of villain. Ooh. I can see the anger from the writer.
My archive. I can always consult with.
But we need to wear ourselves a hat. Let's wear a nice suit. How about this one? And you should be a daycare story reader. Yeah, I wish. Too bad I don't know how to pronounce every word. Yeah, fuck you too, son.
A map of...
Yeah. You fuck me more, I'll accept it. Love you too. The background is scrolling like apeshit. Like you could tell this scrolling like a circle. But it's still a nice detail.
Ah, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, here you are. I'm very glad that you have come, but perhaps I should not have troubled you after all.
Oh,
And
that's
why
why.
is that?
Why
Lady
is that? Yeah.
Brackenstall has come to her senses. She has given
Brackenstall.
so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
What, the three Randalls?
Exactly. The father and two sons. It's their work. They stole a silver service, which is of great value.
Sir Eustace Brackenstall
Eustace.
is dead, then?
Yes.
Alright, so it's
His head
Eustace.
was knocked in with his own poker.
A violent act of aggression.
Yes, the poor lady. She has had a most dreadful experience. She was assaulted and tied to a chair. But I think that you would best see her and hear her account of the facts. She's in the morning room with her maid, Teresa Wright.
Teresa.
Where is the body of the deceased?
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
Perfect.
I'm going to examine it.
Thank God you didn't do
Very
it last
good,
right.
Watson.
Okay.
Lord Ramsay Brackenstall.
Ramsay Brackenstall. Is he the victim?
Baron Lyndon Brackenstall. Sir Warthen Brackenstall. Lord Brigham Brackenstall.
Okay, so there's only 4 pictures here.
Lady Brackenstall awaits you in the morning room.
Fair enough.
Ladies, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting Inspector Lestrade in this investigation.
Mr. Holmes, I am the wife of Sir Eustace Brackenstall. We were married only a year ago.
I am sorry for your loss. Please accept my deepest condolences.
I suppose that it is no
Condolence.
use my attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a happy one. I fear that all would tell you that, even if I were to attempt to deny it.
So let's make a good portrait. We got a bruise in your left, fresh bruises. She got so many reds in his eyeball. Kangaroo and emu are Australian. Elegant dress. Nice tits. Wedding ring. Old bruises. Fresh and old bruises. Interesting. So she has already been suffering domestic violence? As far as I can tell. What the hell are we missing? Ah, pale cheeks.
Can you describe to me the events of yesterday evening?
Is it really necessary? I have already told Inspector Lestrade all that happened.
Yes, madam, it is.
I will tell you then. Sir Eustace retired about 10:30. I sat in this room until after 11, absorbed in a book. Before I went upstairs, I entered the dining room to fetch a candle and, oh God,
Please, go on.
As I approached the French window, I found myself face to face with an elderly, broad-shouldered man who had just stepped into the room. Close behind the first man, I saw two others. One of them struck me a savage blow with his fist and felled me unconscious to the ground.
And then?
When I came to myself, I found that they had secured me tightly to a dining room chair. It was at that instant my unfortunate husband entered the room.
He fought with the intruders?
Yes, I think he had hurt them, for he was holding his stick. But they were three, and he eventually succumbed. One of them, the elder one, struck him a terrible blow with the poker.
Poker.
I fainted once more. When I opened my eyes, they had withdrawn. Then my brave Teresa came to my assistance.
Did these three villains steal anything?
Yes, I found that they had taken the silver from the sideboard, but you can see for yourself in the dining room.
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
I can see your bruises.
The bruises on your hands are at least 1 week old. Your husband caused those bruises?
Oh, do you? Yes, he did. He was very angry at the time, out of control.
Poor you. Such a
Okay.
pretty face.
Sir Eustace was a drunkard. To be tied to such a man for life is worse than death.
Your ladyship? Teresa,
Certainly, sir.
Wrinkles. I probably need to use an auto clicker. Handkerchief. Really?
As I sat by my bedroom window, I saw three men in the moonlight down by the lodge gate. But I thought nothing of it at the time. Oh, if I'd known.
and then?
I went to bed, and it was more than an hour after that I heard my mistress scream. And down I ran, to find her tied to the chair and him on the floor with his head smashed. That's all I know.
Cool.
My
Oh,
We got newspaper to read. Family business booming. The Randall gang is back on the street. Less than a fortnight ago, this infamous family of burglars, the Randalls as all they know, made their reappearance by way of a brutal but successful intrusion into one of the wealthiest homes in Sydenham. The police are already on their trail. However, the details of the crime are being kept confidential, including that of the name of the victim. A witness was able to provide a precise description of all three men, and all this will surely give the police a chance to complete their profile on this family of delinquents. We will take the liberty of reminding our esteemed reader about this highly dangerous band, and to provide the full description as it is available at this moment. The gang has been in business for some considerable time, being a family of three, a father and his two sons. The elder one, Jack Randall, is a man in his 40s and already gray-haired. While of average height and build, being the mastermind behind the burglaries, he retained control over his sons, both of whom are close in age but very different in appearance. The first son is William Randall, And tall and broad-shouldered, with a small, disproportionate head, the younger brother, Melvin Rondo, is of a somewhat weaker constitution and is as skinny as a wreck. The gang is wanted not only for their frequent thefts and break-ins, but for the exceptional brutal pirate career they enjoyed before returning to England. Be alert, and may your valuables stay safe.
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall. A trapper. This photograph of Lady Brackenstall and her maid Teresa was taken at a port, but which one?
We can tell.
This photo.
Rock
So the lady
of...
and her maid came from Australia a year and a half ago on this ship.
Hey, you sure you want to take the photo? That seems inappropriate. I don't see anything special here right now. Then we got your choice. The robbery was fake and the whole story invented in order to blame Sir Eustace's death on the Randalls. The testimonies and evidence match.
Oh, what a...
The body is still in the dining room where the murder took place.
Lord, the Brackenstall family. These scratches are most definitely made by the picture frame. This is Sir Eustace's safe. There may be something important inside. I must ask Lady Brackenstall to open it.
Or you could just crack it open.
Lady Brackenstall, could you open this wall safe?
No, it is my husband's safe. I do not know the combination.
We have to open it. Your ladyship? Let us try to open this safe.
Of course.
This safe can be cracked. I only have to pay attention. The dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number.
There we go. Sir Eustace, Your current physical and mental state is of great concern. There are several signs of a hepatic decompensation. The last time that we met, your eyes were bloodshot and your skin was tinged with yellow. There is a particular odor from your breath that is common in those suffering from liver damage. Then there are the lung abscesses that we have discussed. The leg cramps you have described it to me are caused by an alteration to the nervous system, which in turn is caused by an excess of alcohol. That includes the tremors. Your liver seems excessively hard at the time of your examination, which is a sign of an evolving cirrhosis. There are also signs of ascites fluid in the peritoneal cavity, which are evidence of your swollen stomach. The pain beneath your left ribs indicate a pancreatic malady, which may lead to a fatal and fulminant pancreatitis. Your condition may pose a risk to others. Your excessive alcohol consumption lowers your self-control and heightens your aggression. I'm available to help you with this problem. There are a number of treatment options.
It is common practice to keep one's valuables in a safe behind a painting. It should not really pose a challenge for a criminal. Antique coins, possibly of value.
Okay, so this room is done. We'll leave it to you.
You should examine the body of Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
So, Watson, what have you learned from examining Sir Eustace's body?
Well, I can confirm that the death was instant. Sir Eustace was facing his attacker when he received the blow to his head. There are no other apparent injuries.
Perfect.
This door leads to the upstairs bedrooms. The hunting scene. This candlestick is valuable. It is in an empty silverware box. It appears that the intruders have stolen the contents.
A
A bottle of wine is missing here. These wine bottles are expensive. The criminals did not thoroughly ransack the house. They only took a little silverware.
Interesting.
A deer hunt. A decanter standing next to the open bottle. An inseparable pair indeed. There is beeswing at the bottom, as if the wine had not been decanted before being poured. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. It is rather strange that only one of these glasses has dregs of beeswing inside it, while the other two are clear. Chateau Calon-Ségur, French wine, Grand Cru. Sailor's knots. That's interesting. This rope was handled by the murderers. We need a scent hound to follow their trail. I will take it with me. This is the chair that Lady A fur trader's cabin. A fur...
You
Okay.
That must be the murder weapon.
So that's a poker.
Quite a large stick. A formidable weapon. Barefoot. He had therefore been in bed and did not... Barefoot. It is covered in blood. Sir Eustace might have struck his head upon it while falling from the blow. That is one possible explanation. The head was cracked with the force of the blow.
Damn.
It appears that the bell rope was cut by someone taller than me. It appears... A hunter scene. What do you know about Sir Eustace,
What happened?
Inspector? What was his reputation?
A charming man when sober, but an absolute demon when he was drunk. In such moments he was apparently capable of anything.
Minecraft
Why,
bed
once he
wars.
spilled fuel with a lady
What
breakfast
the
at his
fuck
dog
is
and
that?
Set it alight. Another day he threw a decanter of wine at Miss Wright's head.
The alcohol seemed to madden him.
To the
Ooh.
point that we were forced to intervene several
So
times
he's like an
to avoid a
instant win
scandal.
already. Knockback 399. Wow.
I've searched outside for footprints without any.
There are 3 glasses on the dining room table. I was wondering if...
Oh, I forgot. When I came to myself the first time, each of them had a glass in his hand. They might have been a father and his 2 sons. They talked together in whispers, and then they left.
Your ladyship?
That's valuable.
Sir Eustace's doctor speaks of his violent behaviour.
Yes, Sir Eustace was an extremely violent man. A detestable human being, to be more precise. It is true that he once threw a decanter at me, and all because I dared to stand up to him in defence of my mistress. Sly devil. God forgive me that I should speak of him so now that he's dead, but a devil he was, if ever one walked the earth. We met him only 18 months ago. She'd only just arrived in London. Yes, it was her first voyage. She'd never been from home
Voyage.
before. Wonder with his title and his money and his false London ways. If she made a mistake, she has paid for it, if ever a woman did. She doesn't have any friends here, so it was specially hard for her.
Alright, let's connect the clues. Not enough clues.
I've searched out.
Let us see how the rope was cut. The fibres at the end of the rope are smoothly cut. Let us try to find out what tool was used to cut the rope. The fibres from this cut appear to be different. The fibres from this cut appear to be different. If I cut the rope with a knife, it matches the original.
Alright, Toby, let's get moving.
Come on, Toby. We need the best nose in the British Empire on this case.
I agree with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold cuts.
Someone should take Toby.
Search, Toby.
Ah, you can run, Toby. Yep, not a surprise.
The intruders entered the shed for some reason when they were making off with the silverware.
Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire. Brave. Brave Toby. The best nose in the British
Excuse
Empire.
me.
Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire.
That should lead us to the well. Not a surprise.
The scent leads to the well. I should check it.
Interesting. Oh, so they put a roof to escape, I presume?
The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall.
Woof, woof.
The criminals left the house through the French window. They walked to the shed, then across to the well, before fleeing by climbing over the wall. I wonder why they chose such a winding route.
Let's check the shed first. Yo, Joey.
This hook,
How do you do?
small gardening tool. This old suitcase. Bags.
Good, good, good. It's a good day too.
There's something glittering at the bottom there.
Noise. The silverwares.
Silverware? This is hardly a coincidence. The Brackenstall coat of arms. It appears that we have found the stolen silverware.
Me too. I've been wearing t-shirt like fortnight ago.
The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall.
The winter this year is short, probably less than a month. What? That quick? That's too quick. That is too quick, man. We couldn't jump to conclusion. That's not our style. So we're going to talk to Lancelot first.
Inspector, I have recovered the stolen silverware.
You are a wizard, Mr. Holmes. And where is it?
In the garden well.
Excuse me?
Unique, isn't it?
Rather absurd. What is the point of stealing silverware and then throwing it down into a well?
Perhaps it was used as a temporary hiding place, or simply the thieves wanted to get rid of it. It is up to us to solve this mystery. We found your silverware, Lady Brackenstall. It had not been taken very far.
Is that true? I am very thankful to you, Mr. Holmes.
Your ladyship?
Teresa?
We found your mistress's silverware.
Oh, that's good news. You really are as clever as they say.
Indeed.
So arrogant, saying indeed. That is so fucking arrogant of Sherlock Holmes. He's a bitch. Anyway, thank you, Toby. You've been of great help.
My analysis. My search must be focused upon the ship's... My search must...
Arrival of the Rock of Gibraltar, a ship returned. The Rock of Gibraltar, a bulk courier from the delayed Southampton-London line. Cunard Building, James Street, London, has returned from a 6-month voyage through India, New Zealand and Australia. The ship brought to England Miss Mary Fraser, the heiress of the Fraser family, owning land and tin mines in Australia. This reportedly beautiful young lady is presently engaged to Sir Eustace Brackenstall, one of the wealthiest gentlemen in Kent.
Here it is.
The shipping company, the Adelaide, Southampton, London line, and its address. Interesting. It must be the place where they keep the records, including the one for the crew of the Rock of Gibraltar.
I think that if you pretend
Gibraltar.
you're from Scotland Yard, they'll give it to you without any problems.
But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
The brigands.
A map of life. My archive. I can always consult with...
Holmes, don't look at me like that.
Oh,
Please.
This... The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall.
Ah, yeah, we need to check for the map, I guess.
A map of London and the surrounding area. It could be...
Yeah, the brigands.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
Yeah, the Wiggins.
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I need a register, my young friend. If you could borrow it, there will be half a guinea for every one of you. I need the crew list of the Rock of Gibraltar in 1893.
Gibraltar.
And their current employment.
I'm straight on it, Mr. Holmes.
Do you really think they'll find it, Holmes?
My secret police is better than the Yard in many ways.
3 hours. That is impressive.
Here it is, Mr. Holmes. But we can't take it back. It's too risky.
Put it on the table. I'll take care of it. Good work, young Wiggins.
I left it right on the table for you, sir.
This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor. And these are the lists of the senior officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London Line ships. Let us find out who was in London upon November the 7th.
November the 7th. This should be the
Mr.
one.
Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days.
Duncan, Peter, Neil, George.
I do not think that this sailor...
Murdoch.
This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime.
We need to find Jack.
Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days. I do not think... This officer is still at sea. This officer is... This officer is still at sea. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be... Captain Jack Crocker is our mysterious visitor. He was the only one around at the time of the murder.
This Crocker, do you think...
It would be interesting to meet him. Our young friend should be able to find him. Wiggins, could you find a way to bring this Captain Crocker here to us?
Here? Holmes, that could be dangerous.
No problem, Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, I was informed that you were looking for me, and I'd like to know why.
Yes, it is important that we talk. You will soon understand why.
Let's do the portrait first. Beard. Clear look. Honest, really? This is his stick.
You are acquainted with Lady Mary Brackenstall, are you not?
Yes, I think I do remember her. From when I was first officer, but I still don't see...
It seems your relationship went beyond that of mere passenger and first officer.
How dare you?
Indeed, how reckless a feeling is love, particularly if one is prepared to commit a murder in its name.
Explain yourself this instant.
You are aware that the murder made the headlines of the morning press. You read the newspaper report, but to your dismay, found it much fabricated. Once you learned that I wanted to see you, you came straight away. You needed to know what I had found.
You... and what do you know?
That evening, you were with Lady Brackenstall, despite the danger.
I'm not afraid, Mr. Holmes. Besides, all of this is just guesswork.
You would be right if there was no evidence.
What then?
Lady Brackenstall was tied to a chair on the night of the murder. And it was you who tied her up.
You call that evidence?
The knot.
Yes, as she was tied with a sailor's knot. Your handiwork.
So, it's a sailor who's done it. That proves nothing, Mr. Holmes. I'm not the only sailor in London right now. Your theory is flawed anyway. On the night of the murder, I was aboard the Sharp. I was supervising the repair of a porthole.
At night?
It was an emergency. There was a leak. You can ask the ship's carpenter. He can confirm.
I'm sure that he can.
Perfect. In that case, we have nothing more to talk about. Good evening, gentlemen.
Holmes, what should we do now? Would you like to check his alibi?
No, there is no doubt that these men will testify in his favor, and there will be no way to check.
So, what then?
So, we must work with what we have. We have all the puzzle pieces.
Now I understand why you dissected the bell rope.
I'm going to lift this guy one time.
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Right away.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
I know, because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife. The knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots.
That's true.
Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes.
You would not have managed to protect her.
Till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear. And it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the only culprit. Mary had nothing to do with it. Now it is time to end this.
Really? I was about to let you go.
Please forgive me, Captain Crocker. I wished only to test your sincerity, and your words and deeds have far exceeded my expectations. See here, Captain Crocker, We'll do this in due form of law. You are the prisoner. Watson, you are a British jury. Captain Crocker, the evidence shows that you acted without premeditation and used reasonable force to protect an innocent victim from her husband's brutality. Your devotion pushed you to attempt to kill yourself in order to protect the one you love. Now, what say you, gentlemen of the jury?
Not guilty, my lord.
Vox populi, vox Dei. You are acquitted, Captain Crocker. So long as the law does not find some other victim, you are safe from me.
Mr. Holmes.
It is a great responsibility that I take upon myself, but I will give Lestrade an excellent lead, and if he can't avail himself of it, I can do no more. Come back to your lady in a year, and may her future and yours justify us in the judgment which we have pronounced this night. Inspector, I'm afraid that the murderers have escaped us.
What? Do you mean to tell me that you failed? Never thought I'd live to see the day.
I mentioned the murderers, not the case. It is obvious that the crime was committed by 3 criminals who cannot be the Randalls.
You really think so?
You only need to find a gang of 3 thugs wandering around. I can trust you to do that.
If they exist, I'll catch them.
You'll find someone, I have no doubt of it. Goodbye, Inspector.
Percent 94% solved this case.
Holmes, for heaven's sake, whatever's going on?
Oh, hello, Watson. You're early. Did you kill all of your patients?
What? Holmes, where have all these wretched bees come from?
I increased the temperature of the room so as to prevent them from hibernating. I needed to take a sample of honey. But it worked, Watson. We will have honey all year round.
Ridiculous and dangerous.
They're domestic bees, Apis mellifera, such industrious workers. Anyway, Watson, I am sorry, but I must leave you. I'm in rather a hurry.
You have a new case?
Yes, but nothing as thrilling as this experiment. A theft of plants at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. I'm helping a minister who's is an old friend of mine. You can join me if you like.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours. Besides, you'll need a helping hand with the flowers you're intending to bring back.
Watson, however did you guess?
For the great Sherlock Holmes to bother with the theft of plants. Come on, admit that you're planning to spoil your little bees with some rare pollens.
Since when did I become so transparent? Let us go.
Well, Holmes, here we are at the Royal Botanic Gardens. There's no doubt that this place is beautiful. But are you really intent on investigating the theft of the plants?
Yes, of course.
Don't touch anything else, is that clear? Just go and get a bucket of fertilizer. And without turning it over this time. Good day to you, gentlemen. How may I help you? If you are here for a visit, please do come back on Sunday.
I am afraid that it cannot wait. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson. We are investigating the theft of plants that took place here 5 days ago. A remarkable collection, I believe.
So you're the one in charge, eh?
A small favour for a friend. Now, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
I am Martin Hamish. I am the Deputy Director of
Hamish,
Kew Gardens.
the middle name
And that
of John
fellow yonder
Watson.
is Albert. He works here.
I am delighted to meet you. What can you tell us about the plants?
They were rare and exceptional plants. We presented them at our last exhibition. We haven't removed the stand yet. It is still in the large glass house. We only learned of their disappearance the evening after the exhibition, and nobody saw anything.
No doors were forced?
No, but I would imagine that for a thief it would be fairly easy to gain entry, for there are no guards here.
Well, if you don't mind, we will take a look. Now, you say that it is in the large glass house.
Yes, the one just behind me. Just a second, since Albert has nothing else to do. Albert, show these gentlemen where the exhibition was held.
How many people work here?
Only myself, but occasionally 2 students, Albert, whom you have met, and Miss White.
Here it is. This is the place where the stolen plants were exhibited.
Thank you. Is there something the matter?
Yes, there is. All right, the plants were valuable and rare, but it seems to me that the tragedy that took place here only 2 days ago has been entirely forgotten already.
What tragedy are you referring to?
The director of Kew Gardens, Mr. Montague Dunn, he died here just 2 days ago.
We're very sorry. We were not aware. The two of you were good friends?
He was my father.
Oh dear. Our condolences. We should not be troubling you. Please do excuse us for the intrusion.
You say that he died here, in the large glass house?
Holmes?
Yes, just here, near the door to the colonial collection. He suffered a heart attack. Just like that. So suddenly. It was terrible. Excuse me, gentlemen, but I cannot remain here. If you need me, I'll be in the reserve. That's the room next to the front of the large greenhouse.
Of course, we understand.
Interesting. Plants from the east in the land of the rising sun.
Do not touch.
Water lily greenhouse. According to this, they have light, According to Albert, this is where his father, Montague Dunn, was found dead. The traces are thinner in some places. These boot marks are fresh. The footprints reveal... The door was smashed at shoulder height. This door handle is new. Soil. The soil on... Fragments.
Do not.
Here is a list. These flower pots are beautiful. The symbol... Dry... There is a smell of burning. The symbol is a door handle. The door handle to the colonial collection, and that someone set it alight, but the remains a broom. The plants were set alight fairly.
Oh, fuck off, Watson.
Colonial water, dry, sea, ventilation.
The map is a little bit too large, isn't it?
A ventilation system. A water. Seed. Lock. Seed house. Locked. Locked. Director. Reserve. Locked. Albert told us about the tragic death of Mr. Dunn, the late director of Kew Gardens.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite unexpected.
Would you unlock the doors for us?
Do you expect to find the stolen plants there? I am sorry, but those rooms are private.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Water, nest, vet, dry, water.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
Farmhouse.
Yes, we need to talk.
Yes, but part-time only, for I'm also studying botany at the university.
You're following in your father's footsteps, then?
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good...
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon. Farmhouse. According to this, they have light. According to this, these plants come from all the territories of the... Very strange. Half of the colonial collection is absent. The smell is strong. It is a detergent. These windows were perfectly cleaned. A fragment of this broken... Part of this greenhouse was... This is one of the outlets of the ventilation system. The ensconson. The door was forced from the inside of the colonial... No, it wasn't like that. This pot was broken.
A flower pot recently fell down from these shelves and was misplaced. No, it wasn't like that. The according to this, no, it wasn't like that. Dry tropic. According to this, water lily. According to this sign is broken. Something heavy was dropped upon it. Blood. Someone fell violently against this sign, and they were injured. All the clues around here are quite... No, it wasn't like that. This reconstruction reveals a disturbing fact. Montague Dunn damaged the door of the Colonial Collection Room.
He was in a panic, or the door was locked? Was it an accident, or a murder then, I wonder?
I asked Inspector Lestrade to take Montague Dunn's body to Scotland.
It's ready.
A very good day to you, my friend.
I'm sorry, sir, but the inspector...
This watch... A membership card... A beautiful feather...
To Mr. F. Wayne, director of Wayne and Sons Printing Company. My friend, your posters of a great exhibition at Kew Gardens are very beautiful, but it is surely unnecessary to mention all of the staff. My name alone will be sufficient. Montage done. Would it be of jealousy that his son killed him?
Locked. First of all, let us carry out an external examination. There are no suspicious marks upon the chest. Nothing's. There is an injury to the skull. The vessels and the pupil of the eye. The air from the lungs carries a faint floral aroma. Now,
What would someone whistle while doing an autopsy?
The heart's blood vessels.
Yo, Jesse. Good.
The heart tissue.
How about you?
The lungs
Probably.
are congested and
I'm not sure. Whoa, look
the
at that.
tissue on the inferior lobe of the right lung is damaged. The liver is enlarged.
Let's see how it goes, man.
It would seem that he was... The liver tissue is brown. There are no visible pathological signs.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Don't worry.
The stomach tissues... There is a small amount of content. It appears that he breakfasted lightly.
My suspicions have been substantiated. Montague Dunn, the director of Kew Gardens, died from poisoning. Plant poisoning, to be more exact.
The water lilies?
You mean...
Yes, it is murder.
We should inform Lestrade.
Yes, but do remember, Watson, that I discovered the murder. The challenge is mine.
The challenge, Holmes?
We need to locate that deadly plant. Such a perfect murder appeals to me.
Murder of any kind appeals to you. Is that all?
No. We also have the people working at Kew Gardens. Martin Hamish and the son of the victim, Albert Dunn.
And also Miss White, of whom we spoke with Mr.
Yeah,
Hamish.
it is recommended to
Should we
play.
bring them all here for interrogation?
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
No.
Awesome
a few
gnome.
innocuous questions.
Welcome to our stream.
Suffice,
Awesome gnome.
as
I haven't
well as
seen
a
you for
discreet
probably
delve
more than 2
into
months
their
already.
personal affairs.
Anyway, Jesse, it's a good game
Yes,
that I
Watson.
recommend, but
It
I
is time
don't
now
recommend you
to
to
open
check
the
the
doors.
walkthrough.
Even
Because it's
those in the
fairly
staff
simple
building.
and easy,
I
like you
suppose
couldn't
that
miss
is
anything.
necessary.
Because
We
the
should
guideline
also
is
be
pretty
concerned with
straightforward.
The victim himself. After all, we don't know
But the
very
deductions
much about
would
Montague
probably mix you
Dunn.
some time.
You're enjoying this already, aren't you?
More than a little.
More than a little.
Anyway, the clues are really easy to find. Thank you, Jesse. I guess now we need to head back to the Kew Garden. Yep. Try not to check it unless you find you're suffering. But the puzzle, well, only one puzzle struggled with me.
Locked.
The others are pretty fine. Like if you want to play it, it's worth playing. Just don't watch someone play it. Like if you want to play this game, don't watch how I play it. If you don't have any intention to play it, it's okay that you could just watch my gameplay. What is that? Like a murderer in the first one was Dr. Watson? No shit, Sherlock. I know it's a good game for single player. So let's talk to this guy again. Yep, that's right.
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection?
That's the
It
Sherlock.
seems somewhat depleted.
Nominable
But,
bride.
most likely
Oh
maintenance
yes, I
work.
remember
tidying
that
up.
one, the BBC version.
You're not sure then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
You're lying, bitch.
As deputy director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression. Great pretense that he cared at all.
Give me a minute.
He would
I
give out
remember that
absurd
movie
orders,
is
ignoring
about
anyone
women's
else's
rights.
opinion. He would
Female
then
rights.
disappear
or
for the
women's
rest of the
rights.
week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic.
Chaotic.
So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
So what about his lifestyle?
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed
William Sherlock Scott
celebrating,
Holmes is a
shall we
girl's
say.
name.
He was a member of the London
Yeah,
Smart Set.
I heard of that too.
He was
That
famous for
Sherlock
it.
is actually a
That,
girl's name.
And
He had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
what is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was.
Oh, yes. He forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
Does it?
That must have been terribly
But do you
humiliating.
have a Discord? Yes, I have.
Yes, he was crushed. and
It's
had to
on my
leave.
bios, or
Everybody
about
was making
us.
fun of poor Albert. That is,
About me?
except for Miss Margaret
Wait,
White,
what? I
who was
did
such a
have.
nice lady
I
and
shared
who
it.
always takes pity on Albert.
If you scroll down a little bit about Larry Zip, at the end is my Discord's name. Fuck you, Jesse.
Mr. Hamish, can you tell us who holds the keys to the locked greenhouses?
That would be Albert, Mr. Dunn's son. Yes, Albert keeps all the keys, and one can only imagine why.
What do you mean?
Well, he was never interested in Kew Gardens before, and now all of a sudden he is trying to act as if he owns the place. I think he wants to take
A
over the
Discord
management
server.
here.
Ah, no, I don't.
He'd do
I'm
better to
sorry.
leave that to me. He has no
Well,
experience.
Simple
No,
do
none at
have
all.
a Discord server of us, but I don't have any authorities to it or permissions.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works
Yeah, I
here
wish you could
part-time.
come to Hong Kong
She
to
is
kick
quite
my
charming
ass, man.
indeed. She possesses a
Probably
great
kick some
talent
Jackie
for
Chan's
botany.
ass.
You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And why, he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
Ah, so you are kind of a jealousy guy.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous?
Jackie Chan's dead,
Yes,
yep.
but nothing larger than that.
Mentally and physically.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish.
Well,
We shall continue our
to put it
investigation.
into some fact, no, he's not. He's still living, but I wish he's dead.
locked.
Guess we need to talk to the son. Is it Henry Hamish? Hamish? Fuck you all. Fuck you too, Jesse. Yeah. Tell me
Who
about it.
is Miss Margaret White?
Bruce Lee and Jackie.
Ah,
Yeah,
she is
Bruce
the young
Lee's
lady
the
who
man.
studies with me. She
The
visits
real
here
man.
sometimes to help out with the
The
greenhouses.
man I adore, the
In
man I
fact, she should be here
respect.
today.
No, he's
She
a Hong
wanted to work
Konger.
at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse
No,
across from
Bruce
the
Lee's a
large
Hong
glasshouse.
Kong guy. He went to America for audition for a movie.
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Ah. At the moment, I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much
No,
about the
he's
other
not
rooms.
Chinese, he's from Hong Kong. Anyway, awesome gnome, that's fine. Yeah, we all look the
I
same.
imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been
Most
pondering it
beautiful
over.
of all of them. No,
Perhaps he
fuck
wasn't
you,
so
you
wrong
haven't
about
seen
me
my
after
face
all.
anyway. The only
I have
one
to follow his path.
that's seen
I
my
have to
face
manage
is
Kew
from
Gardens,
Scotland.
and I can do it.
And that was
I can
an
be as
accident
good as
because
any
I
other who works here.
accidentally put myself onto the screen. That
Would
is a
you please
mistake.
tell us about Martin
That
Hamish,
was a
the
mistake.
deputy director?
A mistake that I'll
Well,
never
I have
make
to tell you
again.
that Mr. Hamish is not and has
'Cause
never
every
been
time-
the deputy director of Kew Gardens.
Every
My father
time
would
I
not have
stream it
tolerated it.
before, I'll have to check if
Indeed.
my face is not
That is
there.
most interesting. He told us that he was.
It looks like Jackie Chan in
Yes,
30
because
seconds.
he
Fuck you.
believes that the management should be passed down to him
I fucking
now that
hate
my
Jackie
father
Chan.
is
Fuck
dead.
you.
But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Same hair.
Do
Nope.
you not have a good relationship
I have a
with
longer
Mr.
hair.
Hamish?
I
And
suppose so.
accent.
We
No.
have very little in common.
Have you
Mr.
ever
Hamish
heard
loves his
of
plants and
Jackie
Kew
Chan's
Gardens,
accent?
and I cannot say that I
His
share his
accent
passion.
is so
I
fucking
see.
terrible.
And how was
I'm
his
not going to
relationship
say
with your
that I have a
father?
good accent, but
Oh, he hated my father.
Jackie Chan's
It was
accent
obvious.
is
He would be furious whenever my father boasted
unacceptable.
of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was
Yeah,
stealing all of the credit
it's your
for
point
himself.
of view.
But my father treated Mr.
So do
Hamish
my
in
points
the
of
same
view.
way as he treated anyone.
Let's agree to
Dismissively,
disagree.
with indifference.
Alright, I need to watch the dialogue. You guys are distracting me.
Do you hold the keys to
I need
all
to
of
watch
these
the
locked
dialogues
doors?
in order to find
Yes,
those
you can have
little
them.
clues.
But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
Thank you.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
We can finally visit all the places except the clock room, which I think we're going to break inside anyway. Your nickname to Jackie Chan good. Yeah, and I'll ban your access. You couldn't join our channel now. So I dare you to do it. Actually, from
According
Keanu
to
Reeves
this,
is the best
they
actor.
have light and moisture
Yeah, that's true.
control in some parts of the building.
Tom Hanks. I don't really have a favorite one because I love the good ones. Ah, that's Miss White, and I'm going.
Look, Holmes, this charming lady must be Miss White. She's entering the seed house.
Perfect. But I'm going to check the moisture one. Ah, for fuck's sake.
Cologne. Direct. Ventilate. Sea. Water. Palm. Director.
What the hell?
Direct.
Whoa, what the fuck? What the fuck? What? What the fuck? Why is it glitching?
Director. Reserve.
I remember the movie of Constantine.
Water lily. Water. A map.
Jesus Christ,
A
I'm not fucking
ventilation
atheist.
system. It
So we need to find some tools to do the ventilation. The seed house. Not go to seed house first. Seed house. We're going to check where she come from. Okay, no.
open.
Open sesame.
From here, we are unable to see the interior. Materials for
Yeah,
book
the
about
only
ships.
thing that I admire in
Nothing
this
at
game
all
is
to do with
Sherlock have
plants.
infinite running. He never gets tired, so that's a good shit.
These leather this place.
Louis Lopez.
This is one of the out.
Good day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir.
No,
And good day
it doesn't
to you
have Jim
too.
Moriarty.
But
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson. This is my good friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Ah,
Yes,
shit.
I am here.
Here we go again.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew Gardens. Are you working on a case?
Let's have a portrait of yours. Can I check on your titties? Nope, no Irene Adler as well. Expensive perfumes. Can you recognize it? Can I check your titties? Nope. Pink marks. Poor family. How can you tell? How about the dress? Your titties. There are drugs inside your titties. Mary Beth? Nope. Nope. The colors. Damn. Where is it? Come on, show me. Is it your vagina? Oh, your face? Probably your eyes, your marks, your cheeks, your nose, your mouth, your ear. Nope, not gonna skip it. The waist. Ah, unmarried, of course. Of fucking course. Keanu Reeves, yes.
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago after their most recent exhibition.
Oh, yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
Misfortune.
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
Do you work here? Of fucking course, yes.
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honor.
So do you get paid?
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh, yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic, and very nice to me. Although he could behave harshly towards his son.
Why
He
so?
likes you then.
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
Why do I feel the deputy
Most
actually
of the
killed the
doors in
director?
Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
Thank you.
Thank you, miss. None of the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens know why someone is lying.
I guess the deputy is lying. So anything in the seat house worth examining? Guess not. Let's find what we have. No. Someone is lying. Let's see who's the bitches. The one who's lying is a bitch.
Locked.
Unlocked.
The seeds of plants.
Stop following me, Watson.
What?
A map. Dry. Director. Half. Sea. Vet. A map. A map. Ventilation system.
Object of interest.
Nursery. These young. This poster is for an exhibition that Martin Hamish was directing. But it had. This certificate belongs to Martin Hamish. This is one of the. We can see the interior of the colonial collection. A thesis. A glass. This area. An award presented to Martin Hamish. A master's. It is a bust. I am curious if the marble that we... Here it is. The marble fragment that we found in the colonial...
Oh, fuck off, Watson.
The seeds... Such masks are gloves.
Do they grow dangerous plants here?
It appears as... locked.
Holmes, Albert Dunn didn't...
It does...
Yep, just as I expect. We're going to crack this open. Easy enough.
Open. The employee's cloakroom. There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the laboratory.
Gold dust? Good heavens. What's it?
The gold is almost immune to chemical attacks, so it may be a...
But why would anyone perform such...
Several drops of the bottle is no longer here, but it is possible to detect a faint scent.
Ah, Toby. We need Toby again.
This student's book belongs to... chemicals.
What should...
This is a table for experiments. It resembles my own.
Only this one is kept in...
There's a good one, Watson.
Miss White's locker. These jewels... a vanity.
Margaret, we were surprised to receive your letter. How could you think to ask us for money? After all these years they have passed since you left, and without any thought of us, you have never shared with us any detail of your success at the university, but you choose to do so now. We suppose you must not be ashamed of us, for we are not from the same high class as your new friends. Yes, we are modest people, but you should learn to put your family first, as we at home have always done. And none of us ever compromised their reputation. As It appears you have already with your employer, Mr. Dunn. Not no, Margaret. It is you who makes us feel ashamed. Your parents. Ooh, they're having some argument. Dear Margaret, I know how your financial troubles are overwhelming you at this present time. Please let me reassure you that I could not permit you to remain in such a dilemma. I was born of a wealthy family. I would consider it an honor if you might accept my help. Your devoted servant, Albert. Ooh, interesting.
Apparently, Miss White is a capable... A draft of the letter that Miss White... Miss White... Martin Hamish. Father and I. A review.
Mr. General Secretary, recent events unfolding at Kew Gardens obliged me to renew my application for the management position. As I have stated already in my previous letters, I believe that no one is better suited for the post. While Mr. Montage Dunn was alive, I understood your reservation to my suggestion. Your reasons were political, and so I am happy to comply. But now the Kew Gardens lie in disorder. How can I stand by and allow it? How can I leave them in the hands of inexperienced people with no motivation? I must urge you to cast your decision as a matter of urgency so that I might devote myself entirely to the noble task ahead and free my mind from this uncertainty.
Martin Hamish studied chemistry. Albert Locke. A rejection letter.
Royal Navy Schools of NCO's Recruitment Center, London. Sir, it is my regret to inform you that despite your excellent results within our entry examinations, we are unable to invite you into the Royal Navy School. Your father, Mr. Montage Dunn, has expressed his intention to entrust to you the directorship of the Royal Botanic Garden in Kew, and it is clear that he would not release you for an entire year of naval training. Please accept all our best wishes for your future at Kew Gardens. Yours very faithfully, J.M. Lamarchant, Director of the Royal Navy Training Center. Huh.
Specialist art. Albert Dunn has a great passion. A picture of Miss White and Albert in front of the University of London.
And they seem to get along.
Interesting. None of these clues helps. Alright, well, I guess we need to get Toby. But let's see if we could find some more stuffs.
Seed House.
No, we're not going to Seed House. We're going to the Water Lily side.
There is a bust of Montague Dunn.
A bust? Oh, that old thing. Further proof of that outrageous ego of his.
But why in that room in particular?
Oh, I don't know. It has always been there.
It is strange, because I recovered a fragment of the bust inside the Colonial Collection Room.
Really? Oh, well, so I am mistaken. It ought to have been removed during the cleanup. This room is so small.
Do you know who moved it?
I have no idea. Surely Mr. Dunn requested it. Do you have any more questions like this? Because fragments of rock are not my responsibility.
Evidently. Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with Kew Gardens?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
Mr.
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your father at Kew Gardens suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kew Gardens together, that was all. And it was all my father's work, for Dunn always lived the high life.
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh, yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master of Kew Gardens. Fame meant nothing to my father. So it was easy for Mr. Dunn to take all the credit.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Excuse me. The controllers. Never mind. Don't judge it.
I perceive that you are
Passionate? No, not really.
Are you quite sure? You do...
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It has never been about anything else.
Don't lie to me.
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College rejected your application.
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say. Yes, that's correct. And in fact, my father was strongly against the idea. He did his best to ruin my plans, although I almost did succeed. But my dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
I feel pity for
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again. According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building. The plants were here, all of them. These trees, with their roots in water, must originate from Louisiana.
Ah, yes, the bayou. I remember our visit in the case of the Awakened.
These plants come from all the...
What should we do next, Holmes?
The next thing you need to do is fuck off.
Ventilation. Director's office. Ventilation. A map. Sea. Water. Dry. A ventilation system. It should regulate. A war.
Poor Mr. Mont.
From here, we are unable to.
Yeah, let's go back to Baker Street first. We're not going any further here. Before we fetch Toby, we have to...
My analysis table. It is useful.
We are a premium supplier for all of your landscape gardening and timber requirement, full range supply and delivery of sands, soil, mulches, pots, and anything else you may need. 3 Burton Road to London.
Here it is.
These plants have a certain toxicity in common, more or less variable. Dionia, Carnovirus, Carina, Inhibri, Forum, Chroma, Helipius, Bylis. Whoa, these are all poisonous. Only a thirst free can be dangerous to human, particularly Forum. For specific conditions, the plant should react to the process of aggression against which it will suit deadly spores.
Here it is.
It's a Chinese. It's not defined its factory. A symbol of a broken pot. Parliament work.
That is not.
Probably not newspaper. Blood test. The defined scholastic syndicate for vegetarian veneration. The members of this syndicate worship Trawan, the God King. They strive to obtain spiritual peace and release themselves from the material world, so generous donations are appreciated. What the fuck? That's contradictive.
Here it is.
So now at least we have a lead. So, Toby, you're coming with me?
Someone should take... Have you found something in... Someone should... Have you found...
Come on, Toby. We have some work for you to do.
Let
What
us
do you
go
ask,
to Kew
Jesse?
Gardens.
A map?
Crimes and punishments. Toby is so lovely, man. I wish I could hug him.
Let us take Toby to the laboratory. He will pick up the scent of
This
this.
is too long, case 5, I know. Just, well, that's what she said. Too long.
Search, Toby. Search.
Going through. So you can now open the door, Toby. Interesting. It's because this map is too big and it's not separated into several parts, so the searching becomes a little bit too long for this game. So Toby, give me a lead. Nice work, Toby.
Congratulations, Toby. Now let us see what you have found. This is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle. A tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a garden.
Thank you.
Brave Toby.
A champagne.
French
Interesting.
wine. French champagne. A photograph.
My dearest Margaret, following our last conversation, I believe it might be better if you vacate your position here at Kew Gardens. As you pointed out quite bluntly, you are no longer in need of my support. You are quite able to stand up for yourself in this world, as you say. Well, I give you back your freedom and wish you nothing but good luck. Montage done.
Newspapers.
New plant species. The Kew Gardens team are pleased to announce the successful production of a new variety of barley. One that retains a complete resistance to the cold. They have named it the Siberian barley. Well, just if you're watching it, you might be pleased. Mr. Martin Hamish, the proud cultivator of the graft, will hold a press conference next Monday morning upon this very object. And last but not least, we need to crack open the safe. Oh, really? Ah, shit. So it's left, and then right, and then left. Oh, so it's left. Left, right, left, right. 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 So I guess it's going to be a left. Left. So it's 5 left. Left, right, and then triple left, and then a triple right, and then triple left. There we go. Easy enough. My dear friend, please allow me to express my disappointment upon reading your last letter. I'm paying you to defend me, not to accuse me. Kew Gardens is a royal institution. We are granted the great opportunity to travel the world and to save the most extraordinary, precious, and rare species of plant. Our duty is to protect such species, and from those who might wish to use them for dubious purpose. This divine syndicate of whom you speak have no right to hold such precious plants. Remember the case of June 14th, 1889. So I must respectfully ask you once again to notarize the permission on these plans on behalf of Kew Gardens. The documents were sent to you on Monday. P.S. See you in Budos on Tuesday as always. Montage done. Wee wee wah wah. Letter of complaint. Mr. Dunn, we must ask you for the last time. For the return of our dear sister, you do not have any rights to hold them imprisoned. They do not belong to you. Your so-called permissions are wholly false. You are hiding behind lies. The lie we need not elaborate that was reported in the press as the case of June 14th, 1889. What you have done is quite abhorrent. Be very sure that we shall never abandon our family members. We trusted you and regret having done so, the Divine Syndicate. Oh. So
I suggest that we don't tell Miss Margaret White about this document.
Deb of Miss Margaret White to Mr. Montashton, rental of a suite of rooms at Oxford Street, an educational scholarship at the London University, credits opened at Hamilton, Radigan House Taylors, and at... Ooh, okay, so they were having an affair. That is... my surprise. Surprise. We need to talk.
Are you aware of the Divine Syndicate?
The Divine what? Is this a joke?
No, I am quite serious.
What a ridiculous name. Anyway, I have never heard of this syndicate.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
This is quite messed up.
Tell me.
No.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Now let's find Miss White. Not Miss White. Where's the seat house? There we are. I've got loads of questions for you.
The Divine
Not at all. But it is a very pretty name.
Thank you, miss.
What? None of them knows what it is? Are you serious?
A ventilation.
Dear Mr. Holmes, I have finally found the courage to write you a letter. I can scarcely find the words to express my gratitude of your kindness. On that terrible day, I believed my life to be ruined, but at the same time, I realized there to be one person in the world who truly loved me and who I loved in return. His name we both know. He is Captain Jack Crooker. His love has given me true reason to live. Even if we cannot be together in the end, none of this could have happened without you, Mr. Holmes. Ooh! She writes back a letter. So my decision is right. Scandal at Divine Syndicate Club. The Divine Syndicate Club, followers of the god King Trowan, situated on 48 Grosvenor Street, Carleton Road. Protectors of plant and more, particularly trees, are currently the subject of an administrative investigation. The leaders of this organization are suspected of financial malfeasance. It may be that this investigation will lead to charges of judiciary. Meanwhile, many voices have risen high against this inspection, denouncing the state. In fact, this private organization, which has given as its goal to defense and protection of nature, and which incorporates many persons of influence, including political representatives of the opposition party.
Here it is. And here is the Divine Syndicate's address. Perfect. It is... Let us pour liquid from the bottle into a test tube. This is the bottle that we found hidden at Kew.
Oh, you've got so much of it.
A colorless water... Quite a strong...
Holmes? What are you doing?
It has a bitter taste.
What if it's poisonous?
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway, there is a doctor nearby.
So what do you think it is?
It is some kind of organic compound. Let us vaporize the liquid and see what happens. Let us determine just what we have found here. Small colorless crystals.
Can you turn off the heat first?
Tiny crystals that are soluble in water, with a floral smell and a bitter taste. Watson, could you pass me that small bottle, please?
Of course. Here you are. Holmes, do you know what it is?
Wagner's reagent. There was a label on the bottle that you passed to me.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle that we found.
Let me add the reagent and see if there is any sediment, and then I shall tell you. Red sediment, just as I suspected. This liquid is of organic origin. It contains some alkaloid. Most likely it is unstable, and that is why there is a quantity of gold dust to prevent contamination. This mixture is probably a fertilizer. Someone was carrying out unusual experiments in the garden's laboratory.
This place is beautiful, Holmes. Its atmosphere is remarkably soothing.
Let us find someone who could help us.
Excuse me. Damn it. Noise.
Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock.
I am exalting the sap. A while can you wait? From the trace of elements and moreover from the quality of the ambient geotropism it depends. Therefore, please, mind my gravitropism. Its balance, do not disturb.
Disturbed is most definitely the word.
There. Completed is the symbiosis. Welcomed you are. To introduce myself I shall. I am the Green Grand Mystic.
The Green Grand Mystic himself.
This is me. Who am I speaking to?
We are two gentlemen who are extremely interested in the vegetation philosophy that is advocated by this establishment.
Listening to you, I am.
We should like to take a look around, to immerse ourselves in the wisdom that emanates from here.
It is a school of anastomosis, the divine scholastic syndicate for vegetation veneration and meditation.
Sure.
You may say, the divine syndicate. Glory to the eukaryotic. Only true devotees, those whose hearts are ready to spermatophize in sharing of knowledge, are permitted to physically enter our vegetable kingdom and its wisdom. And to be permitted, you must earn it. Yes.
Green Grand Mystic, we are ready to become devotees and gain access to your temple.
What is the name of our Lord, our God King?
Our God King's name is Treewan, Green Grand Mystic.
Oh la, good, good, I like you. Here is the holy key to the wisdom place. Holy donation can you make whenever you so wish.
Thank you so much.
I pray you to taste our fertilizer substance from the
But of course.
raw sap, it is called.
We visited Kew Garden.
Coincidence, I am thinking. They would scavenge our refuse. It would not surprise me.
It was merely an... Well, we will leave you to your meditation. A fragment of a flower. Fragments of a flower. The Kew Gardens.
How do you manage to hide a pot inside your body? Anyway, let's go inside.
That should be the raw sap that the... It is rather delicious, and of an excellent quality.
My word, Holmes. Their sap is like a form of cocaine.
This must be true. This door is locked, but I can try to open it.
Really?
Praise the grand tree. Praise it.
Caterpillar. A tropical. A tropical. These three.
How do you manage to hide everything inside your body? That is nonsense.
These
So this is actually a joint.
This substance is an alkaloid. The perfect, Watson. This cabinet. That would be enough to perform the most. The list of plant. Do you have
none? Not worthy there. None. Not worthy there.
Nevertheless, we have seen Kew Gardens flower pots in your yard. How could they happen to be there?
What? Our sacred place you permitted yourself to search? Sacrilege.
No, really now. There was a theft of plants at Kew Gardens a matter of days ago. And we believe the pots we found here may be connected.
No. Those plants were ours. They had stolen them from us.
How so?
Their director, Dump, I believe.
Done.
Yes, that's what I said. He borrowed from us 3 of our sisters for the exhibition at his green fly-infested garden, but he never gave them back to us. Excuses and imbecility. So we went in and...
I see. So, if you stole those rare plants... Ah, I get it, bravo.
No, we did not steal. We saved. Well, as a matter of fact, we were unable to find our 3 plants.
I beg your pardon. And yet, you took all of the exotic plants from the stand.
They had disappeared. It was the least we could do. They stole our sisters, and so we stole theirs.
Well, we will leave you to...
That is definitely not the right conclusion.
I imagine that one of these plants would be capable of releasing a toxic vapor. I need to find out exactly how it could be done. I shall begin now. Watson, if you are at all optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask. A carnivorous plant. This is a prickly plant. No reaction. It appears to have fallen inactive after being disturbed.
My word! It shot a spike at me after I stabbed it with a pin. I imagined that its reaction would be ferocious if I increased the strength of my attack.
This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid. This plant becomes inactive. It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid. No reaction.
My!
It closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent. This plant seems to have had no reaction.
I find the behavior of predators utterly fascinating.
This plant seems to have had... It closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is opened, it will reveal a little more. It appears to open after being...
My word!
This plant... This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid.
My!
It appears to have fallen inactive. This plant seems to...
This plant becomes... My! It closed. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. A prickly... It appears to open after...
There we go.
Toxic gas with... The plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at precisely the right moment.
Let us take our caterpillars to the Colonial Collection Room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there. Let us investigate Kew Gardens one more time and ask some questions. Palm. Water lily greenhouse. These plants come from all the territories of the British Empire. Dry tropics. Colonial. A ventilator. We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window.
Your father's death does seem...
Suspicious. Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of these Latin names, and I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes. He came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit.
And...
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned here.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what will they both do?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the water lily.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again.
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit.
And...
Well, he came in to say good morning. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone.
And that...
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes. I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that...
What exact...
I was recording and I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy...
Certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
Can you tell me if you saw Miss...
Yes, of course. He appeared.
What were you...
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Suddenly I observed that Mr. Dunn was not... I clearly remember that it was around past...
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Everyone has gone, Holmes. The way is clear.
When Montague Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released, and panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back. He rushed to the door, but it was... We already know the outcome. Montague Dunn collapsed and died, not far... Well, it is time to perform... The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct. Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
This is one. This is one of. Before starting the engine, the power is on. The engine cannot be started. The engine. The ventilation system is working. This is one of the... Excellent. This ventilation fan is working. Let us see if I can activate the other one. From here. Perfect. Now I just need to find Watson to check the result.
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried out, by activating both Albert's and Mr. Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room. Let's go to Scotland Yard.
A very good day to you.
The inspector's...
Inspector, I believe that Martin Hamish is guilty of the murder of Montague Dunn.
Aha! I knew it. I'll send the lads around to arrest him.
Very good. I shall wait to hear from you. Inspector, I came here as quickly as I could.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
Holmes, my God!
Yes, we found him like that.
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish realized that we knew.
Inspector, could you arrange the body, please? I should like to examine it.
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a characteristic of...
A club foot. Bravo, what?
Life has become a living hell. I find it unbearable. Dunn deserved to die, but I cannot forgive myself for having his blood upon our hands. We Hamishes seems to have always fallen victim to our circumstance, and I find myself to be no exception. I must atone, and I shall do so here now. Farewell. This is his last will.
The mark around the neck is very... Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes?
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't see why.
No, I don't suppose you do. You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
You mean to say that somebody helped him?
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
I have another idea, Inspector. Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline, such as we did in the Jack the Ripper case.
Precisely.
The map at the entrance of Kew Gardens should help us with our timeline.
Let us analyze the facts and statements so that we may recreate the events of that morning.
Elbert was in the seat house the entire morning. Let me run to Albert. Let me run to Albert. There we go. Fuck yeah.
Let us summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial Collection Room. He forced open the door, which means that someone locked him inside there at 10:20. Martin Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is doubtful. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means that she had approximately 20 minutes to lock the door. More than enough time. Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
Fuck you.
But Holmes, how can you be certain that we'll find Miss White here?
It is obvious, Watson. Just use your brain.
I am using it. I do use it.
Now that the rope has tightened around Martin Hamish, Miss White must act to erase all traces of her implication. After the suicide of her accomplice, there is one final trace remaining: the deadly plants of the Divine Syndicate. She will be there.
Very good. Shall we go?
Just one moment. Now listen to me, Watson. I shall see her alone. You will conceal yourself behind her, quietly.
Whatever are you planning?
Nothing spectacular. The impulses of women have always been a mystery to me. But she is a bold one, and so we must be cautious.
All right. You can count on me, Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, good day to you.
You do not seem surprised, Miss White.
Well, I was expecting you.
Not for too long, I believe. So please tell me, as it is still unclear, who planned the murder? Was it you?
You were wrong, Mr. Holmes.
It was Martin Hamish, then. You managed to convince him to take on a more prominent role.
You could not be further from the truth.
You think that you can fool me?
You don't care what I think.
It is difficult to care about someone who is capable of pushing a man to his suicide. It is over, Miss White. The police will be here any minute.
Over, perhaps. One moment you were here, and the next, you were on the other side.
The other side? No! Stop! I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Well done, Watson. She was not faking.
Miss White, you have no right to take your own life.
Oh, do you?
Dr. Watson? Did you just save me? Or worse?
There we go. Alright, let's end our stream here. I'm too tired solving 2 cases. Anyway, I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. So, tomorrow, well, there's one more case, so tomorrow we'll be still playing Sherlock Holmes. And sleep tight, have a good night, and goodbye.